Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about creating print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please hit like and subscribe and stick around. So in today's video, I want to show you guys how you can create this design right here and talk a little bit about costume shirts. So like Halloween, lazy costume tees. And so this is one that would work great for that. It says this is my pirate costume. So if you would like to learn about this, go ahead and stick around. So right now I am on Canva's new homepage. You may have noticed that it did change this week or last week, I can't remember, but Canva is officially all glowed up. So there are a few changes here and there. So you might have to look around to find things if you're not quite sure where they are or where they've changed. We are going to be making a t-shirt design here. And so we're going to go ahead and get a custom size. So now you can click custom size is right here, or we can go over to create new design here and click custom size. So either of those two places will work. I'm going to click custom size here. As you can see, this has changed a little bit too, but we're still going to go with 4500 by 5400 pixels, and that will still pull up a nice blank page here. Now this has also changed a little bit. So there are, it looks just a smidge different. So I'm going to click here. And what you're going to notice is the toolbar is no longer up top here. It is now floating down here, but otherwise, still works the same. So I'm going to go right here where it says background color, and we'll just go ahead and select black as our background color. So today's video is going to be all about lazy Halloween costumes. And so you may have noticed around Halloween time, shirts sell that are just like Halloween costume t-shirts, and some of them are really cheesy and really simple, and others are a little more complex. You do have to be super careful because don't do anything that's obviously like trademarked or copyrighted. So for example, I've seen a lot of people put up shirts that are just like a red shirt with the letter M on it in white. Well, it's supposed to be an M&M, but obviously you can't do that. That will get taken down. Same thing with people trying to do crayons, and they try to make like the Crayola logo, and again, that will get taken down. So you do have to be a little bit more careful than that. There's plenty of cool animal ones that I've seen. I've seen white shirts that just have like black polka dots all over them, and it says like, pretend I'm a Dalmatian. Or other ones that's just like a brown shirt, and it just has a giant tan oval in the middle, and it's supposed to be like the stomach of a bear or something. So some of them are really simple and some of them aren't, but there are a ton of them. So all sorts, and you can be as creative as you want with that. These are just meant to be sort of silly, lazy, simple Halloween costume shirts, and you can use all of those words in your kind of title. So we're going to do one, it's a little bit more complicated than what I just said, but we're going to do a pirate one. And this one is just going to say, this is my pirate costume. And we're going to have like the kind of skull, crossbones, piratey look to it. So it is pretty simple, but it's going to look pretty cool too. And it's something that anybody who likes pirates could wear anytime there's like a pirate dress up like thing, or, school dress up. Anyways, it'll look cool. So you can use lots of fun graphics on Canva. So you can go over to your elements and you can search pirate and come up with a lot of really cool pirate stuff. I found a graphic that I absolutely loved on Creative Fabrica, and so I'm going to show you guys that one. But again, you can get your graphics from anywhere. I'm going to use a combination of Creative Fabrica graphics and Canva graphics. So I'm going to jump over to my Creative Fabrica really quick. Now, if you don't have Creative Fabrica or you've never used it, one, it's super cheap. Two, if you don't want to buy the subscription, no problem. They have a ton of freebies. So over here, I'm on freebies, and you can search all freebies, free fonts, free SVGs, free graphics, and there are literally hundreds of thousands of free things that you can download and use. And so it is a great way to sort of get your feet wet if you haven't used this, is to jump over and try out some of the free elements. If you do have a membership or a subscription, then obviously you can use everything. And so you can search, specifically for print-on-demand things that you can use, or you can do a search and filter for print-on-demand. So I went ahead and just did a search up here for pirate, and give it a sec, and it pulls up all sorts of pirate stuff. Now I can also filter down here too. So if I come all the way down to the bottom, I can filter print on demand. And that means that everything it shows me now has a license for print on demand. So I can use it for print on demand. No worries. Okay, so anybody who's like worried if it's okay to use these, if you filter for print on demand, it is. Now, one thing I found is this font here. I love this font. I downloaded it years ago and I've used it a bunch, the Pirate font. And so that is here. And I will be using that in my design too. But again, there's tons of fonts that you can use. And then the graphic that I found that I really loved was this one right here. So it was just kind of that skull with the pirate hat. And I really liked the look of it when I saw it. And I was like, okay, I want to use that. So I went ahead and clicked on it. And you hit download, and I've downloaded it. Now it will download it in a zip file, so you will have to open up that zip file and then drag and drop the individual file into your downloads. Then you can jump over to Canva. So I'll do that, and then we can go over here to the side to uploads, and you can upload it by hitting upload files. That will pull up your download section, and then you just click that and it will upload it. And here it is right here for me. I've uploaded it, along with a lot of other patterns and stuff that I've gotten off of Creative Fabrica. So here is the really cool sort of skull that I wanted to use. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit because I want to have a lot of room to work around it. So this is going to be my main centerpiece. And I'm going to have some text here and some text here. That's going to pretty much say this is my pirate Halloween costume. I'm going to fill this space probably by adding a couple more graphics. So let's go ahead and start. Well, let me go ahead and put the text up first. So I'm going to hit T on my keyboard. That will pull up a text box. And on the top, it's just going to say, this is my, and that's going to go up here. Pretty straightforward. Then I'm going to hit T again. This is going to say pirate. I think I'm going to do it like that. And then one more time, it's going to say costume. And it's going to be something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and curve this over the top. So then when it came to fonts, I wanted fonts that kind of looked like they went with this. So this sort of has that old style feel to it. So I was looking for some fonts that sort of gave that sort of old English feel. I didn't necessarily want grunge fonts because this isn't a grunge graphic, meaning you don't see through it. There's no texture to it. It's solid. So I wanted my fonts to also be solid. So I wasn't going for a grunge font with a solid graphic. So I was still looking for that. Now I told you I wanted to use that pirate font, and I do want to use that, and I'm going to use it on the word pirate. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to use my pirate font, by the way. Oops, sale. Down here where it says upload a font, this is where you can upload those fonts that you got off of Creative Fabrica. So I have tons. Here are all of my uploaded fonts. So there are literally a ton of fonts that I uploaded from Creative Fabrica. Still going, still going, still going. These are all ones that I've uploaded. And so you can see just a whole bunch still going. By the way, here's the pirate one I wanted. And so there's a bunch of pirate ones. There was a pirate grunge, pirate inline grunge, shadow ones. I just wanted pirate inline. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And we're going to go ahead and make it nice and big. So I'm going to make this pirate kind of cover the whole bottom of the page here. So I really did want that to be nice and big. And so you can see that. And then for the other two, I was going to do, again, different fonts. And I looked around for a long time. Obviously, you can spend forever looking at fonts. I came up with, for the top, Hero Beam, which is one that I got off of Creative Fabrica again, but there are still tons of fonts that you can use on Canva. So don't worry, just take your time and you can kind of look to see what you've got that you like. I liked this one because I thought it gave that same old feel to it. And the cool thing was it did have that inline, so it kind of matched this because this also has the inline feeling. So I thought that those fonts were really complementary of each other. So I'm going to bring that up here. And this one I am going to have kind of curve, so I can go to effects down here to shape, and I can use the curve. And I was going to put sort of just a little mild curve like that on it. So then I can do, my pirate is going to be really big in the middle there. And then down here, costume, and costume, I had one more font in mind. I was going to do sort of an old English font. I went with one called Dark Power. Again, I think I got this off of Creative Fabrica at one point or another too, but there are other old English style fonts that work just great that Canva has. And so that is what I was coming up with here. Costume. And I was going to do something like that. And now I really need some colors to these, but I also thought I was going to add maybe a couple more graphics to fill in some of this empty space. And so what I was thinking might look really cool, and of course you could do anything that you want, I was going to do something like maybe a ship's steering wheel and maybe like a compass, but you can kind of search for whatever you want. So if I go over to Elements, and I did just a broad search for pirate, it's going to come up with all sorts of pirate stuff. So I can search for graphics, and I can get tons of cool ideas this way. And once I kind of know what I want, then I can do more of a specific search. So as I'm looking through all of these things, I might say, ooh, maybe an anchor would look good, or maybe a treasure chest would look good, or, you know, maybe the hat or the sword or whatever. And then I could do a specific search just for those items. So by doing a nice broad search first, it gives me lots of good ideas of things that I might want to incorporate. And then once I've kind of got that good idea, then I can go ahead and narrow my search down so I'm not necessarily scrolling forever. So one of the things I was going to do was a compass. And there's tons of different compasses that you could use. All of them would probably be pretty good. I was looking for something simple, sort of like that, just a circle that I could kind of put behind in one side, and then I could put the wheel on the other side. And because they're both circular items, I thought that they would complement each other well. So there's lots of different styles here. The gold one, you know, that kind of looks cool there, because pirates in gold always look kind of nice. So I could do something like that. Might look kind of cool there. There's a ton of other compasses. Here's one that I also thought might look good, and this one lets me change the colors. So I could add some of that gold in here, by the way, if I wanted to. So maybe I decide I'm going to make some of this a nice sort of gold color there. Maybe even a darker gold like that, so it sort of matched the pirate a little bit better. Maybe I even do that with maybe a little bit of a gold. Yeah, lots of different ways I could go about sort of playing with this and coming up with different golds. Obviously, this is a really bright gold. I could do, you know, something along the lines here and have sort of different shades of gold. And so you can see how I can just sort of play with that there. I might want to go ahead and pick the wheel that I want before I decide on one of these, so I can see kind of what complements the wheel the best too. And so sometimes I'll just take all of these, I can drag them off of the page, and then I can come back to them a little bit later, and that works pretty well too, because I can always just go to my recently used. So I could scroll forever. There's tons of really cool, I mean, all sorts of really cool style compasses that you could use that look really awesome in different shades. And let's go ahead and look for the wheel though. Let's go, I'm going to be a little specific. So I'm going to go pirate, ship, and then I'm going to put wheel. So now I've got a bunch of pirate ship wheels. Now I do have another gold one here. So again, back to the gold, I could do this gold. But this gold and this gold are kind of different shades, so I don't actually think they're going to work together as well as this, because this one I can change the colors and I can try to match that a little better. So that is a good option there. I could also look to see if I could find one that sort of has more of that, you know, browny, kind of worn brown look to it. And so you can obviously, you know, search for a while. I'm getting more pirate ships than wheels though. I don't want anything too flat because these do have different shades in them, so I like that there's different shades in these. You know, here's a pretty basic wheel right there, and it kind of has some different shades in it, and it looks okay. So, I mean, if I didn't want to go with the gold, something like that might work well also. And so lots of different ways I could go with this, and I can play with both too, by the way. So once I pull it off, it'll be saved in my recently used, so I don't lose it. So I can play and see which one kind of looks best from here, or maybe I angle that a little bit. I'm going to move it sort of out a little bit. I want it to almost kind of go to the edge of the text is what I'm thinking. So maybe something like that. And so that's one option there. It kind of is a little dull for me. I might have liked that gold one better in terms of what pops, I'm thinking. So let's go ahead and try the gold one. So what I can do, by the way, close that. Recently used, all of the things that you pulled out already are going to be in your recently used. So then you don't lose them. So then you can just like kind of pull out all the graphics you want and save them in your recently used. So I'm going to go back to the wheel. This golden wheel I actually did like. And so let's stick with the golden wheel. That definitely screams pirate to me. And I was going to go ahead and maybe angle it a little bit. Bring it down and bring it out a little bit. Maybe something like that. And send that to the back. So I hit Control and my left bracket to send to back. And then I'm going to use this. And maybe I want to match some of these a little bit better. So let's go ahead. I do want to keep one of the darker browns. So something like that might work kind of good just to incorporate some of the darker browns there. I do want to keep sort of the shade of the hat. And this is pretty close, but I can completely match the shade of the hat by using my eyedropper feature and picking something straight from the design. So I can do something like that. Or if I wanted to, I could match some of the lighter golds here too. So there I can match that lighter gold. And then I can also sort of do this and match some of the other golds. And I can play around and sort of come up with whatever shades I think are going to match best. So there we go. So I like the way that looks. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control my left bracket. I can send that one to the back, and I can go ahead and place that wherever I think it might look cool. I can resize it too. So if I want it to be roughly the same size as this, I can go ahead and bring it over, say, okay, I think it's roughly the same size. And I want this to be relatively symmetrical in terms of how far it goes out. So right now this one is sticking out a little bit more than this one. I want to make sure my skull is perfectly centered. And it is. So maybe we take this wheel, we move that wheel out just a little bit. If I'm not sure, I can always use my rulers and guides here too. So if you hit Shift and R on your keyboard, that should pull up your rulers and guides, and then you can pull a line kind of over and decide where you want to line things up. So for example, if I was going to do this, I might go ahead, make that a little bit smaller so that it kind of touches that line a little bit closer. Maybe make this one a little bit bigger, so now everything's sort of lining up on that line. And then I can pull another line here, kind of make it the same space right there. Those are all lining up pretty good. Mostly like that. Good. Okay, so it is pretty lined up there after I grabbed my lines and looked. So I actually really like the way that that is looking. So now we're just going to go ahead and pick some colors for our fonts, and then we'll be good. So I'm thinking sort of a gold, tan. So I'm going to bring all of these colors in here. So let's go ahead and we will start with one of the golds. Let's go ahead and I can just pick straight off the design, see what that one looks like. And that one looks kind of cool. Or there's this other gold here. That one also looks good. So they're both kind of good golds. Let's go ahead and do this. And then pirate, I'm thinking sort of the tan from his hat maybe. One of the lighter tans from the hat, something like that. And so that looks pretty cool, I'm thinking. Maybe I do go with the lighter gold. Now that I got it all together, let's see what that would look like. That's going to make it pop a lot. Looks a little too orangey, I think. So right now, I think that that looks pretty flippin' cool. Now, this costume, obviously it overlaps a little bit. I can make it intentionally overlap. I can bring it down. I mean, if I really wanted to make it smaller so I didn't have the overlap, I could do something like that and just make it really small. I don't necessarily like that. I'm thinking I like it a little bit bigger and maybe with an intentional overlap, or even throwing it at an angle here and doing something like this. You know, I want it to come all the way to the side though, so I could do an angle and do something like that, and that looks kind of cool. If I really want to make sure that it's going to pop, I could always put an outline or a shadow around it too. Shadow might work better than an outline. Let's see. Let's go to Effects. Let's try an outline so you can see what happens when I do the outline there. And I can do a black outline so you can't really see it too much on the black shirt. Bring that way down just enough so I get a little bit of that overlap there. Now that works well on a black shirt, but it won't work good on any other color because you would see the outline. So for example, if somebody wanted to buy this in like the dark heather gray, now you can see that this one has a little bit of an outline. Well, what I could do is just add an outline to all of these, and that might work. Then they would at least look like they all go together. So if somebody got this on a different color shirt, you would still get, oops, just that nice, really thin outline that would make it pop. And I can do the same thing here. So with all of these, I'm just picking the thin black outline, nice and thin. It's also going to help to make sure that inline pops really good too, because it might not pop as well on another shirt. You might not be able to see through it as well. So by adding the shadow, it fills that inline up and makes sure that that pops. So that looks kind of cool there. So now if somebody bought it on a heather gray, it's still going to pop just as well as on a black. If they put it on a black, you won't even be able to see the outline. The outline will go away on a black, so you wouldn't even have to worry about it. I don't really foresee anybody wanting this on a lighter color. Like I said, the lighter colors don't tend to sell well unless you got a design specifically tailored for them. And since I'm thinking Halloween, I don't really see a lot of people doing this design in a lighter color. But if for any reason they wanted it on like a light heather gray or white or something, you can see with the outline, it still pops enough that it's something you can read. Even though I really don't think that that would look good, quite frankly. I think black or dark heather gray is going to work best for this. Maybe a dark brown, maybe the kind of darker green or dark olive green, something with those nice darker colors, a dark burgundy, so something that would go with this. But most of them are all going to be kind of dark. So anyways, that is the design. So pretty quick and easy. You know, the longest part was just kind of picking what I wanted. And I can spend way too long looking at fonts. But anyways, so that is the design. I hope you guys found this useful. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. If you have video requests, you can put those in the comment section below too. I do read all the comments, and thank you guys for all of your kind words. I hope you guys are still being very creative and, you know, learning new skills, coming up with all sorts of cool designs. So anyways, with this done, I'm going to go share, download. It's a PNG. It's a transparent background. I can hit download, and now it is ready to go. It would work great on a t-shirt. You could also put it on a tank top, long sleeve shirt, sweatshirt. It has to be clothing because you're saying it's a costume, so you're not going to put it on a pop socket or a phone case. But any of the above would work good for, you know, long sleeve shirt, tank top, t-shirt. Those would all work fine. The V-neck shirts, if you're selling on like Amazon merch, that would work good too. Probably not the raglan because that's a lighter color. But anyways, that is it. I hope you guys are doing good. And again, I hope to see you guys again next time. That's all for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.